Trump dangles peace with one hand and war with the other as he keeps military options on the table. Despite the deal, Trump still eyes more confrontation with Iran if Tehran fails to reach a final nuclear accord. Trump floats a Middle East empire, offering U.S. protection in exchange for a share of regional revenues. Iran gamble enters its final act as the region braces for either lasting deal or fresh escalation. U.S. to become guardian of the Middle East? Trump eyes a massive geopolitical and economic payoff from peace. Donald Trump has floated a new ultimatum to Iran even as negotiations appear to have reached a critical breakthrough. The U.S. president said military strikes against Iran could resume if the current nuclear talks ultimately collapse. Trump also suggested the United States could become what he described as the guardian of the Middle East. According to Trump, such an arrangement could potentially be tied to a share of the region's revenues. The remarks suggest the White House is continuing to keep both military and political options on the table. According to the New York Times, Trump's advisors expect a fresh round of negotiations to begin on June 19th. Switzerland is expected to host the next phase of U.S. Iran talks focused on Tehran's nuclear program. Despite recent progress, significant disagreements reportedly remain over Iran's nuclear activities and future commitments. Trump has repeatedly insisted that any final agreement must permanently prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. The New York Times report suggests Washington is actively preparing for either diplomatic breakthrough or renewed confrontation. On television, an aide to Araghchi declared that Iran had won the war after the peace deal. Iran is now looking toward implementation of the deal after more than 3 months of regional fire. Mujtaba appears set to test U.S. commitments as Tehran unveils what it calls an extremely important next step.
These very lengthy talks lasted perhaps more than 14 or 15 hours. During them, we presented the Islamic Republic of Iran's final amendments to the text, and naturally those amendments were reviewed, and the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding was finalized. That is the first point regarding this process. For now, only the text of the Memorandum of Understanding has been finalized. The formal signing of the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding will take place on Friday between the principal parties to the memorandum, with Switzerland being discussed as a venue. 2 immediate developments either have already occurred since last night, or must occur starting this morning and will occur. The first is the immediate and permanent end of the war and military operations on various fronts, including Lebanon. As you saw in the statement announced by the Prime Minister of Pakistan, it was explicitly stated that a permanent and immediate end to the war has been declared on all fronts, including Lebanon. The second development is that the President of the United States has announced his position regarding the lifting and termination of the naval blockade that the United States had imposed against the Islamic Republic of Iran. However, after the commitments of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the implementation of the other provisions of the Memorandum of Understanding, these will naturally take effect from Friday following the formal signing of the memorandum. This Memorandum of Understanding was not merely the result of a diplomatic initiative that produced this diplomatic achievement for the Islamic Republic of Iran. It was not solely the product of diplomatic efforts. Rather, it is indebted to our military achievements. It is indebted to the pure blood of the martyrs whom we lost in confronting the enemies of the system. The enemy that attacked the Islamic Republic of Iran in order to implement its malicious objectives suffered heavy defeats in all of its goals and strategies, while the Islamic Republic of Iran achieved remarkable victories in this war. The enemy itself was forced to request a ceasefire and negotiations, and now we are witnessing this draft understanding in which all of our positions, as well as the important issues we considered necessary, have been incorporated. We have no trust whatsoever in the enemy. Our trust is in our military power, our diplomatic strength, and the support and unity of our own people. For that reason, implementation of this memorandum is extremely important. We have specific plans to monitor the implementation of America's commitments under this Memorandum of Understanding, as well as in the second phase, when negotiations will be necessary in order to reach a final agreement. If such a final agreement is reached, naturally the important issue for us will be the implementation of its provisions. Any measures taken by the Islamic Republic of Iran regarding the commitment it accepts in the one or two areas that pertain to Iran will be aligned with, proportional to, and contingent upon the implementation of the other side's commitments. Wherever we observe shortcomings in the implementation of the other side's obligations, we will naturally take our own corresponding measures in response.
Iran's state-affiliated Mehr News has published what it says is a 14-point draft agreement outlining a potential framework for a U.S. Iran deal. According to Mehr, the reported draft begins with an immediate and permanent end to military operations across multiple fronts in the region. The United States would pledge not to interfere in Iran's internal affairs under the reported framework. Washington would formally recognize and respect the sovereignty of the Islamic Republic. The U.S. would lift its maritime blockade measures within 30 days of the agreement taking effect. American forces deployed around Iran's periphery would be withdrawn as part of the proposed arrangement. The Strait of Hormuz would reopen under security and transit arrangements coordinated by Iran. The draft also reportedly includes the release of $24 billion in frozen Iranian funds. These assets would be unlocked during a 60-day negotiation and implementation period. Half of the funds would reportedly become available to Tehran before formal talks begin. The reported concessions would represent a major economic lifeline for sanctions-hit Iran if implemented.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.